Who is Jonnie?
Nice to see you. Yeah, my name's Jonnie Jensen. I am the founder and creator of Team Superdad and the Hero Academy program. I'm a men's coach, and speaking to you today, we're focused on single dads, and I help single dads get their shit together in less time with fewer mistakes so they can rebuild their confidence, take back control of their life, and have fun with their children.
Amazing, because sometimes it takes such a long time to get our shit together so we can start moving on and have a better relationship with
Oh
our
my.
children. So how do we do that? Please tell our viewers.
Okay, good. Well, listen, I've got some slides here which I will gladly take you through. But more than anything, this work that I do is a expression of my experience and everything that I've been through. Curiously, I was involved with personal development and coaching beforehand, and I had a vision back in 2007 for something called the Lodge, which was a retreat for dads to reconnect with what they want and experience adventure and adrenaline and like I said, reconnect with what they really want for life. But then my divorce and marriage breakup happened. So let me share my screen here, and we can give some visuals on the show here. So I think we can see that. Yeah, brilliant.
Yes, it's
So,
funny. Fantastic. We
so
can see the slides, so you can go ahead. I can see them.
brilliant. Hang on. Just see. There we go. So good. Oh, we've already done that bit. So let's move on to the next bit. Slide 2. So yeah, after the breakup, right? There's a lot that goes on, and unfortunately, it's rather paralyzing. But it really is time to kickstart your life. Your family, your mates, your colleagues—they all want to see you happy. Many single dads would have experienced this. Someone they love saying to them, "We just want to see you back on your feet. We just want to see you happy again." And personally, we know ourselves that we need to be back on form at home. We need to be back on form at work. And quite frankly, in those quiet moments to ourselves, we know that we want to feel like our old self, like get our mojo back, like when am I going to feel like myself again? When am I going to feel like myself? And what I want to say to dads is that now is your time. Whether it's just happened or whether it happened a long time ago, like now is the time. I love cartoons, right? Wile E. Coyote, like he just has that moment of realization when he thinks he's going to catch the what the heck was that thing called? The what was it, like an ostrich or something, right? So then he straps on the Acme turbo rocket and it all goes wrong and it's just like, oh no. But he hits the deck and he gets back up. And like what I want to, it's that relationships end for a reason. Whether you ended it yourself or she ended it, whether there was an affair, whether you just drifted apart, it happened for a reason. And I've really got to be in my bonnet about like the marriage vows, and I realize that people of faith, put a lot of importance on till death do us part for sickness and his health, and as I stood there on my marriage day, yes, those things were really important to me. But I feel like there has to be a caveat that's added to that, which is unless it's bloody awful. And me, when our relationship ended, it really was rock bottom and it was brutal. But it was also the pathway back to the life I desired. And it was October the 7th, 2015 when we broke up. And it's not really a great story. It was a row. It was a head butted a wall. I shouted at her. She shouted at me. I ran off. I shouted at her, and then I ran off into the night, and that was that. And I could have ended it before, and I no doubt she could have ended it before. But for me, this has become my mission. My mission in helping single dads inside of the Rebuild program kickstart their life, and not because I like talking about divorce. In fact, no, this isn't counseling. It's not about the legal process. It's about getting men back on track so we can celebrate their new life. And as I said at the beginning, just like realizing that when is it time? When is enough enough? And as I started to piece myself back together, you know, on top of all the coaching work I'd done already and my personal development journey, the books, the seminars, you know, I really started making sure that I was listening to a lot of positive content. And Reverend Td Jakes, or Bishop Td Jakes, I'm sure some of the viewers tonight will have heard of him. He's an amazing man, you know. He's flipping, he'll get you up off your seat for sure, whether you're a Christian or not. But he said in just one short sentence during one of his videos I was watching, he said, "Don't drown in shallow water." And it was like, wow. And he particularly went on to say, "Don't drown in shallow water while the other half flourishes." And like that happens to too many men. You know, we're upset, we're lonely, we don't think we're seeing our children enough. We're the money, the rejection, you know, it hits men so hard. And I realized that I was taking too long to get over it. And divorce can be paralyzing, right? And I heard this saying once, right? Getting divorced is tough. Being divorced shouldn't be. Okay? It's done. Your whole life was not your relationship. And I made the mistake. I made it like everything was all on the relationship. I put all my heart and soul into her, into the kids, into like if I've got to keep the marriage going, I've got to keep the marriage going. You know, many dads during that time said to me things like, "Hang in there, you know, focus on the long game. You know, it gets better." And this is talking about the being divorced part of it. I worked with Shelley Whitehead, an amazing relationship coach, and she said to me, "You know, it takes men generally about 5 years to get over a divorce." And I didn't listen, and I didn't really believe people. I was like, 5 years? I haven't got 5 years, you know? But more than anything, I kept thinking to myself, no one understands. No one understands. And that's a dangerous place for men to be. You know, we all know about the male suicide rate. And curiously, because I know there's women watching, right? The number of women who attempt suicide isn't that different to the number of men that attempt it. It's just that men are actually better at killing themselves, apparently, than women. But worse than that, this study by the University of California, the Riverside University of California, discovered that twice the number of divorced men commit suicide compared to that of married men. And as part of my mission in working with men is all about reducing suicide. I experienced suicide in my family when my brother took his life. And that came at the end of a lot of struggles in our relationship, and it took me down. I had nothing left to give. I'd put everything into looking after my wife through her illness, everything into keeping the business going, everything into fixing the marriage. And then when something hit me, like ripped out my soul, even worse than any of that stuff, I had nothing left to give, and it took me down. And I'll tell you what, if you're ever searching Google for "am I burnt out?" you already know the answer. And that was me. So 2 years later, and it's September 2017, I'm climbing Grosslochner, Austria's highest mountain. And it's not too tough, but it is dangerous in places. And there's deep crevasses that I don't want to fall into. Suddenly, out of nowhere, the storm, quite unexpectedly, the sunshine is replaced by a blizzard. And I can now barely see my hand in front of my face. One foot in front of the other, we keep walking. And I should be concerned about the mountain. I should be concerned about the crevasses. But my thoughts are sharply focused on my divorce and myself. How am I going to fix this? How am I going to fix this? It's all I keep thinking. I know I need to move on, but it's hard. I'm still fighting my ex 50% of my children's time. Money's tight. Business is struggling, and I'm lonely. I feel utterly rejected. I'm having counseling, and I strongly recommend that. The antidepressants are helping. In fact, I'm coming towards the end of them because I only wanted to stay on them a year. But I want to feel happier. I want to move on. I want to have fun with my children and my friends. How? I keep asking. And then as quick as the blizzard starts, it stops. The sun reappears. And as we put our equipment back together, I look back and see how far we've come. The danger is way behind us. And actually, not far up ahead is the mountain hut, the retreat that we're headed towards. And then it hits me. It hits me how far I've actually come. And then I'm like, what if all this has happened for a reason? What if this isn't the end and it's just the beginning? Just because my marriage is over, it doesn't mean that I'm a failure. What if this is the perfect time, like a blessing, like actually created this for me so that I can build the life that I actually want? And this becomes my breakthrough moment. The rebuild and helping dads get their shit together. It's my experience of the whole process of putting myself back together. It's a structure, a program, a process for successful living, a means for men to be the man they want to be and to be the dad their family needs. And what I realized from this whole process was it's not actually just about divorce. It's about a process for men to reclaim their masculinity, to take responsibility for themselves. It's a blueprint for a life that I wanted before my marriage even, let alone after my breakup. And I actually do this same work with men in the Hero Academy. But for divorced men, to kickstart your life, we call it the rebuild. And a key thing that we all need to realize is that you can't pour from an empty cup. You have to be strong in yourself to be strong for others. Your mindset in focus, your health and well-being and fitness, your finances. You know, it's not about being rich and it's not about being poor. It's about having freedom around money, no stress, no anxiety. Because when you have that amount of control over yourself, that's when you can really be there for your family, where you can really have fun and fill your life up with adventure, which I'm going to share more about the process for doing that in a moment. I'm back, basically, because of the work I've done with myself, because of this journey, because of the investment I've made in myself. I'm fitter than I've ever been. I've created work that I enjoy and that gives me purpose. I have a happy home where my children live 50% of the time. It took me 2 trips to court and 4 years to make that happen. I recovered from depression. I reconnected with old friends. I discovered new hobbies and passions. And the two key things out of this: the darkness of the breakup and the marriage breakdown is over. The fight for our children's time is over. My ex-wife and I actually get along now. We co-parent effectively, and best of all, I've met a wonderful woman, and I've learned from this whole process. I'm creating the relationship that I always knew was possible. I'm back, baby, and I've put all that experience into the rebuild. It is the ultimate program for single dads who are ready to kickstart their new life. Now, core to the rebuild is my process called the Power Code, and it is about putting yourself first so that you can be your best for others, and not putting yourself first in an old-fashioned way, in a selfish kind of way. You know, dad's coming home. Where's my dinner? Give me sex. You know, put the TV on for me. Like we're saying, it's not the 1960s, right? But this is about too much time being given by men to do all the other things in life. And then they realize that they're burnt out and they got no time for themselves. Like I said, when my brother took his life, I realized I had no capacity to get back off the floor. As you can see from the graphic, the power code is these 5 key elements, right? And I want you to tune into the last part of this time I've got with you, because this isn't a pitch here, right? Yeah, we can talk about working and being part of the rebuild, but this is the blueprint. This is the blueprint for dads. It's particularly the blueprints for single dads rebuilding their life. You've got to have purpose. You've got to wake up in the morning clear about why you're here and what you're up to. You know, you're reconnecting with your vision, your values, what you actually want out of life. Too often you say to men, you know, coaching men, I work with men, I ask them, well, what do you want? And the first thing they do is tell me a whole bunch of things they don't want. And that's because we're so focused on what we're not enjoying that we think about that all the time. And you will have heard this many times said by Zig Ziglar, I believe, by who's the other guy? They both say it, but in a different way. It's going to come back to me in a minute. But you know, we become what we think about most. Okay. So you've got to have a purpose that lights you up. You've got to have a vision for your life that you're excited by, because that helps you weather the day-to-day storms of life. And then onto ownership, or as I like to call it, own your shit. Taking responsibility for yourself so that you can actually be in control. I've said there, feel in control. Well, not just feel in control, but you can be in control of everything that's going on for you. It's not about it's raining and that's a problem. You know, some people dance in the rain, some people hide from the rain. It's about being the best version of yourself in any given moment. And that takes ownership. And we're going to talk more about ownership in a second. Work. Work is about the day-to-day actions that you take. Darren Hardy speaks wonderfully about compound leverage, and I strongly recommend anyone gets that book. But it's the power of small, consistent actions. How do you eat an elephant? Bite by bite. Okay. And action creates abundance. It also builds up your sense of well-being and success. Engaging with your family, your friends, giving your time and attention to the people that you love. And then reward. Living with fun and adventure, which I'll also share more about. So, ownership. I can see we've got 4 minutes left, so I'll speed up a little bit. True power and freedom comes from being yourself in every moment. Okay? It's the real deal management, the management of your life. Taking responsibility for everything in your life means that you can't blame other people. And if you're not blaming other people, you're not going to build up resentment or get angry at other people. If you've had a marriage breakup, I'm sure you'll be familiar with blame and resentment and anger. And that has to go. Part of you getting complete and managing your relationship with your ex is about letting all that go, taking 100% responsibility for everything that happened and everything that is happening now in the moment and the future. To do that, you've got to master your mindset and your performance. Negative thoughts will just pop up in your head. You know that voice? The voice that questions everything you do? The voice that stopped you asking out the woman you fancied way back when? The voice that stops you starting the business? That's your mindset. And you've got to take control of that. And you do that by feeding it positive thoughts. Your performance, sleep, diet, and fitness, you've got to take control of. And being more you, being clear about the things that you love about yourself, that we go back to purpose and your vision and values. Who actually are you, and are you living it? Because if you're not, you're going to be suffering every day, and that will grind you down. Habits, becoming aware of your good and bad habits and actually saying enough to the bad ones and feeding into the good ones, because that, particularly as men hit their 40s, that is what is going to keep you going and have you build the latter stages of your life. Cleaning up your past is something I call the weasel list, and it comes from some work I did at Landmark back in the day. And becoming aware of all the places in life that you don't have freedom because you cheated on someone, because you stole something, because you left a situation in a mess. It's about going back and cleaning that up so you have freedom. And finally, continuous learning and sharpening the sword so that you can always be your best. And the reward. Jump into the 5th section of the power code. My dad, a maverick man, he says, the thing is, son, I'm not sure you're having enough fun. And my dad is a living, breathing at 78 example of someone who has, despite the good times or the bad times, always managed to have more fun than the average person. And as we're talking here about dads, it's appropriate to realize what lessons have we learned from our dads. So in reward, it's about happy for life. Okay, living a life by design. And to just summarize this slide quickly, human beings are programmed, literally programmed to laugh and have fun. Serotonin, dopamine, endorphins, these are feel-good chemicals that when we're laughing, playing, having adventure, having sex, we get these feel-good chemicals. So guess what? If you're having a crap life, or if you're sat on your ass feeling sorry for yourself, you're not going to be feeling any of those chemicals. You're not going to be creating any of that for yourself. And it is a downward slide. Your friends you need to reconnect with, your hobbies and passions you need to start doing again, a bucket list and planning for fun. How much are you actually committed to having fun in your life? Inside of the reward area, we put that all together. And so always believe something wonderful is about to happen. I'll save this story for another day in order not to run over. But so often in this life that I've created for myself, I saw past the upset and became clearer and clearer about the future that I wanted for myself and my life and my children. And now I'm actually creating it. Okay, so I've really Proud of this opportunity to be part of this tonight. Thrilled to be sharing the stage with so many great other speakers. The Rebuild is a program for single dads. Yes, there is a program for dads as well who haven't been through the pain of divorce or separation. But I made too many mistakes, and I don't want that for other men. I met too many broken dads, and I don't want that to happen anymore. I saw too many toxic single parent groups. I'm committed to that being put back in the dark ages where it belongs. Any dad who's watching this right now is welcome to go to teamsuperdad.com and see everything on offer. But if you go to teamsuperdad.com/rebuild, you can see everything I've been talking about here today inside of the Rebuild program and the power code. Working in the Rebuild, I take on just 4 single dads a month. It's a 10-week cycle. There's one-on-one dad coaching with myself, weekly group hangouts with other dads, video training and exercising, and it's all geared around taking control of yourself and your life, building plans for the future, living in the moment, creating memories, getting along with your ex, and having fun with your children and friends. And so everything that's come out of my, let me stop sharing the screen. Oh, thank you for doing that, Margaret. Everything that's come out of my experience, we can do that, has gone into this. It's been a journey, and more than anything, it's actually allowed me to become a better version of myself than I was when I was married. And whether you believe in God or not, life should be a continuous experience. It should be about not I'm a failure or it went wrong. It should be about, wow, wasn't that interesting? Wasn't that a cock up? And then you build on it and you keep going. You know, just finally, I'll say, Winston Churchill was credited for a quote, which apparently he didn't actually say, but when the going gets tough, keep bloody going.
I love that saying. I love that saying. You know, this has been amazing presentation. And, you know, sometimes you put something in, you're thinking, am I in the right place? Am I doing the right thing? And listening to those amazing speakers that's come to speak and the men that came to pour their heart out, I'm like, thank God that I did take the bold step and actually put this talk show for the fathers, because what you've shared is so valuable, because many men feels that way, because like I say, I've been working with single fathers for the last 10 years, and some of them are really struggling to kind of pick themselves up and rebuild their lives. And what I love for all the speakers, the men speakers, it's about, although this has happened, take ownership. Take ownership and say, okay, this is happening, but right now I need to keep going on. I need to learn about myself. And that's what I kept getting again and again from every one of you, the single father that's been speaking on this platform. It's about loving yourself. It's about not being too hard on yourself. It's about, okay, I've messed up. Guess what? This is the learning curve. I need to stand up. That is a powerful message. And also what I like is you cannot give love from an empty cup. You cannot pour anything out from an empty cup. Your cup has to be full for you to give, even just to give to yourself, much as giving to anybody else, and also to give to your children. So that is absolutely amazing. I know you told us where they can reach you. Have you got a program coming up before December? What's happening?
Yeah, like I said, the Rebuild is a rolling process. I take on 4 dads a month, and we work together for 10 weeks. And it's a combination of one-on-one coaching and group sessions with other dads. So it really is about a social group, a personal development journey. And everything I just shared in that 20 minutes is the experience. It's a shortcut to the success and the freedom that we know that we deserve. Too many men, just like Td Jakes said, don't drown in a cup of water.
I love that.
Which
I
was
love
actually,
that.
when I heard him say it, that's what he actually said. But when I've gone back and looked for it, all I can find is him saying, "Don't drown in shallow water." But in the thing that I heard, "Don't drown in a cup of water," and that's the reality for men. And you need to fish slap and say, "Wait, wake up! We're not doing that. We're not doing that." Like, even if you did the cheating or you messed up, like, okay, that's fine. You messed up. Now is the time to be a man. Now is the time to be a dad. Now is the time to create the life that you desire. Whatever's going on, we're going to move past it. If you're still fighting for the kids, good. That's your job as a dad, not to give up on your children. If you're being an absent father, then step up and get back into their life. And apart from that, the other 90% of your life, like if we broke it into chunks, like money, fitness, focus, friends, you gotta fill up each bucket of your life so that they're all overflowing. That's how you become the best version of yourself. And when other people go, "What's happened to him?" Like, how I want some of that. Jerry Maguire, why don't we hug? Like, show me the money.
Oh wow. Oh God, it's just been amazing sitting here listening to you, Jonnie, taking us the journey, the story and everything, and your experience is so down to earth, and I'm sure a lot of our viewers out there tonight, they must have taken some gem from your speaking, connecting with you. And yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much for coming. I really, really appreciate you. And I'm so happy that we are connecting again. Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks for having me here. Thank you.
Margaret Thorli, an award-winning business startup trainer, business coach, and career mentor. She is the CEO of H&R Training Professionals Empowerment Speaker Confidence Build, an extraordinary trainer who has trained 1,500 lone parents and women to become entrepreneurs. She is an author, Single Mother and the Dating Game, Tips on how to maneuver the dating minefield, 8 tips to a better relationship, ideas on how to have a great and loving relationship, Elephants in My Stomach, feeling the fear, wanting to flee, Stop Undermining Me, I'm Not Stupid, I'm Just Dyslexic, championing the voice and worth of single mothers and fathers.